Welcome to the Southeastern North Carolina Radio Reading Service, a United Way partner agency. We are located on the campus of Fayetteville State University, and our signal is carried by WUNC Chapel Hill. Today is the 12th of April, 2018. It's Thursday. It's 10 o'clock in the morning, and your radio hosts today are Clark and
Nancy.
And we will be reading the news for today's edition of the Fayetteville Observer.
I'm going to start with your weather for today. This is from the Fayetteville Observer, Thursday, April 12th, 2018. And today we're going to have a beautiful day, high of 76, mostly sunny, pleasant, and warmer. Tonight it's going to drop only to 53, and it's going to be clear. Let's go to tomorrow. Are you ready? It's going to be a high of 81 tomorrow. A low of 58, sunny to partly cloudy, so you can break out your summer short clothes and get some sun. Saturday, a high of 82, a low of 64, partly sunny. Moving to Sunday, later in the day on Sunday, we have a shower possible. We have a high of 81 and a low of 53. And those clouds move away overnight. Monday, we're going to have a high of 65 and a low of 41. Monday is going to be mostly sunny, breezy, and a little cooler. Then going to Tuesday, we have a bright sky, a high of 69, a low of 48, pleasant with plenty of sunshine. Wednesday, a high of 80 degrees, a low of 56, sunshine and warmer. Beautiful weather this week. Let's look at our sun and moon. The sun rose this morning at 6:48 a.m. and the sun will set tonight at 7:45 p.m. The moon rises at 5:39 a.m. and the moon sets today at 5:29 p.m. Sunrise tomorrow, Friday, will be at 6:46 a.m. and the sunset for tomorrow, Friday, will be at 7:46 p.m. And our moon, we have a new moon on April 15th. The first moon is on April 22nd. Our full moon will be April 29th, with our last moon being May 7th. There is your weather for today, Thursday, April 12th, 2018.
And today in history. Today is Thursday, April 12th, the 102nd day of the year 2018. There are 263 days left in this year. Today's highlight: on the 12th of April, 1861, the Civil War began as Confederate forces opened fire on Fort Sumter in South Carolina. On today's date in history, in 1606, England's King James I decreed the design of the original Union flag, which combined the flags of England and Scotland. On today's date in history, in 1776, North Carolina's 4th Provincial Congress authorized the colony's delegates to the Continental Congress to support independence from Great Britain. On today's date, in 1934, Tender is the Night by F. Scott Fitzgerald was first published in book form after being serialized in Scribner's magazine. On today's date in 1945, President Franklin D. Roosevelt died of a cerebral hemorrhage in Warm Springs, Georgia, at the young age of 63.
Wow.
He was succeeded by Vice President Harry S. Truman. On today's date in 1955, the Salk vaccine against polio was declared safe and effective. On today's date in 1961, Soviet cosmonaut Yuri Gagarin He became the first man to fly in space. Yes, comrade. He was orbiting the Earth once before making safe landing. On today's date in 1963, civil rights leader Martin Luther King Jr. was arrested and jailed in Birmingham, Alabama, charged with contempt of court and parading around without a permit. During his time behind bars, Martin Luther King wrote his letter from Birmingham jail. And on today's date in 1975, singer, dancer, and civil rights activist Josephine Baker, age 68, died in Paris, France. On today's date in 1863, Chicagoans went to the polls to elect Harold Washington, the city's first black mayor. On today's date in 1988, the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office issued a patent to Harvard University for a genetically engineered mouse. The first time a patent was granted for an animal life form. And lastly, on today's date in 1965, Senator Jake Garn, a Republican from Utah, became the first sitting member of Congress to fly in space as the shuttle Discovery lifted off from Earth. And today's celebrity local birthday, a happy birthday goes to Juanita Brittingham. Happy birthday, Juanita Brittingham. And John E. Howard, born on April 12th. Happy birthday to John E. Howard. And the celebrity birthdays that we find in the newspaper. Children's author Beverly Cleary. She's only 101 years old today. Actress Jane Withers. She's 92. Jazz musician Herbie Hancock. He is 78 years old today. Rock singer John Kay of Steppenwolf. He's 74 years old today. Actor Ed O'Neill is 72. Talk show host David Letterman. He's 71 years old today. Rhythm and blues singer J.D. Nicholas of the Commodores is 66. Actor Andy Garcia is 62. Country singer Vince Gill is 61. Model TV personality Jay Alexander is 60. Rock singer Art Alexas of Everclear is 56. Folk pop singer Amy Ray of the Indigo Girls is 54. Actress Shannon Doherty is 47. Actor Riley Smith is 40. Actress Claire Danes is 38. And wrapping it all up for us today is actress Saoirse Ronan. She is 24 years old today. And that's it with the birthdays today.
Okay, here's Daybreak for Thursday, April 12th, 2018. What do you need to know? Number one, the SALT membership meeting. The SALT annual members meeting is April 28th from 12:30 to 3 p.m. at Averysboro Battlefield. There will be a historic talk, tram, and walking tour, guest speakers, board elections, and lunch. Reservations are required by April 20th by calling 910-695-4323. Call for art. Okay, all you artists, the Fayetteville Art Guild is asking artists of all mediums to submit up to 3 items for an upcoming art show. Items will be on display April 27th to May 22nd, at Alter Egos Gallery, 108 Gillespie Street. The cost to submit artwork is $25 for non-guild members, $15 for members of the Fayetteville Art Guild Network. You can submit your art April 20th to April 22nd. The items will be part of Beauty Remains, a joint project between the Guild and the Fayetteville Dogwood Festival. The gallery will celebrate the finale of the Dogwood Festival with an open mic night on April 29th from 6 to 8 p.m. Spoken word artists should call for more information. The show is free and open to the public. Artists' work will be available for purchase. And historic tours. The Cool Spring Downtown District will give historic tours of Old Fayetteville by horse and carriage on Saturdays once a month through November, starting this Saturday, day after tomorrow. The tours leave hourly from 1 to 5 p.m. from 222 Hay Street, across from the Cameo Art House Theater. The tour includes historic sites from Fayetteville's rich 250-year history and the stories of people and events connected with them. Call 223-1089 for tickets, which are $25 per person, $20 for military, and $15 for children under 12. Now, listeners, we want to hear from you, so please submit your events in writing at least 10 days in advance. Email your calendar at fayobserver.com or fax your details to 486-3545. For questions, call 486-3500. Now, let's look at the lottery numbers. The Powerball number is 16, 8, 27, 55, 67. Powerball 2 is 18, Powerball 3 is 3, and the estimated jackpot is $89 million. The North Carolina has a midday drawing, and South Carolina also has a midday drawing. So you can find us online if you like us for breaking news, facebook.com at the Fayetteville Observer. You can Instagram us, find captivating photos by our award-winning photojournalists at the Faye Observer, or Twitter us. Follow the Cape Fear region's leading source for local news at Faye Observer, and also Snapchat at Faye Observer Snap for behind-the-scenes videos and photos.
And for your public safety here in Fayetteville, North Carolina, in Cumberland County, we have some arrests. Jabari Deshaun Whitted, age 18, of the 500 block of Nottingham Drive, was charged Wednesday with 2 counts of conspiracy and 1 count each of breaking and entering a motor vehicle, obtaining property by false pretense, misdemeanor larceny, and misdemeanor possession of stolen property. Jabari Deshaun Whitted, his bail was set at $7,500. Stuart Patrick McClaney, age 33, of the 500 block of Winding Creek Road, was charged Wednesday with 2 counts of misdemeanor assault on a female and 1 count each of assault with a deadly weapon with the intent to kill, assault by strangulation, misdemeanor resisting arrest, and misdemeanor communicating threats. He was very busy that day. His bail will be set this morning in the district court because the charges involve domestic violence on behalf of Stuart Patrick McClaney. He was a very busy day that day, wasn't he? He had one. And Jessica Lynn Ellerby, age 30, of the 500 block of Franklin Road, was charged Wednesday with larceny, possessing stolen property, and conspiracy. Jessica Lynn Ellerby's bail was set at $15,000. And finally, there's one break-in reported today in Hope Mills on Pecan, or Pecan if you prefer. Pecan Grove Loop reported Monday at 8:15 a.m. prescription drugs, a wallet, military identification, and debit cards were taken at that residence. And this today, ladies and gentlemen, wraps up your public safety for today.
Okay, March Organizer, It's Perfect Time for Prayers by Myron B. Pitts. Jeremy Wright believes any time is a good time to pray for the city and its leadership. That may come as no surprise. Wright is the founder of the As One Prayer Walk, which is celebrating its 5th anniversary this weekend. But with the city council embroiled in a scandal over one of its members, the walk scheduled for Saturday comes at an important time, he says. Councilman Tyrone Williams was asked Monday to resign by all of his fellow council members after he was caught on tape trying to get money from a developer on a major downtown project. Williams said he did nothing wrong and refused to resign. His colleagues indicated they will pursue a long legal process to remove him. Wright says some people will try to use the situation to divide residents, or as he put, divide and conquer. I'm never for those things that actually separate us, says Wright, and I do understand these things can be very diversive, but I think they will always work themselves out if we just take our time. Praying is perfect for this particular issue. It's a perfect time to have this. The event this year has been renamed the As One Prayer Walk and Unity Weekend and is scheduled for Friday and Saturday. For the main event on Saturday, as in the past, thousands of people will walk together to different locations downtown and pray at each stop, led by a pastor or other spiritual leader. Past walks have attracted many city leaders and community figures. The event starts at 10 a.m. at Festival Park, and the assembled will walk 2 miles. Unity prayers scheduled at each stop will focus on specific issues. Though most of the walkers will be Christian, Wright said As One events are open to all. The luncheon will be a panel discussion organized like The View, Wright says. They're going to talk about things from their perspective, adding that people will be able to ask questions of the women as well. Other events include a unity service at 7 p.m. Friday at the Northwood Temple Church, where communion will be served, and a family unity fair immediately following the Saturday walk that will have games, children's activities, vendors, a job fair, a food and clothes distribution, health and wellness screenings, and workshops on disaster preparedness. Wright says the prayer walk and related events show city residents their commonalities, not what separates them. You have a very diverse group of people in our community coming together to pray, Wright says. That's all we've been doing for the last 5 years through prayer, which is one of the most common things we have. We pray. Now, columnist Myron B. Pitts can be reached at mpitts@fayobserver.com, or you can call Myron at 486-3559.
And there's a suspect charged in the 2008 burglary and rape. A Spring Lake man was arrested Wednesday in a brutal sexual assault that happened in Fayetteville nearly a decade ago, according to arrest warrants in the Cumberland County Magistrate's office. Jonathan Sherrod Maddox, age 30, is accused of breaking into the Briar Circle home of a couple who were sleeping. He robbed them at gunpoint and raped the woman and forced her at gunpoint to perform sexual acts on him and 2 other men. The Fayetteville Observer does not identify victims of sexual assaults. The incident happened at about 1:50 in the morning on June 25, 2008, the warrant said. Maddox and 2 other men who were not identified randomly picked an apartment in the complex and broke into it, said Lieutenant John Somer Indike of the Fayetteville Police Department. Once inside, Jonathan Sherrod Maddox, armed with a semi-automatic handgun, and the other men moved the woman into another room where she was raped repeatedly and sexually assaulted at gunpoint multiple times by the three men, the warrant said. Jonathan Sherrod Maddox is accused of stealing electronics that was valued at $4,729 from the couple, as well as a debit card. Jonathan Sherrod Maddox is also charged with 12 counts of conspiring with the two unidentified men to kidnap, rape, and sexually assault the woman. 2 counts each of first-degree kidnapping, first-degree forced sex offense, and conspiring to commit robbery with a dangerous weapon, and 1 count each of first-degree rape, first-degree burglary, robbery with a dangerous weapon, and financial card theft. Jonathan Sherrod Maddox, age 30, his bail was set at $400,000.
Okay, we have a short article by Nancy McCleary. Habitat is readying for building competition. Fayetteville's firefighters and police officers will square off May 31st for a competition build to benefit Fayetteville area Habitat for Humanity. This is the second year for the competition to see whether the fire department or the police department will be the first to raise the walls of 2 homes in the B Street neighborhood revitalization target area, according to a release from Habitat for Humanity. The police department team will be framing the walls of a home for a Vietnamese family, the Vos, who have lived in Fayetteville since 2013. Fire department team will do the same for Mrs. Fonnie Collins and her daughter, who are looking forward to having a home of their own, the release said. The public can keep up with news of the event by following Fayetteville Area Habitat for Humanity and following Police Fire Friday. The community can support the effort by voting Team Blue or Team Red on Habitat's website, or you can call at 483-0952 for more information. Now, there are more bonds to fund schools and a college building. Steve Devane writes this about Carthage. Voters in Moore County are being asked to approve $123 million in bonds that would pay for building 3 elementary schools and a nursing building at Sandhills Community College. 2 of the elementary schools would let the school system close 4 existing schools: Aberdeen Primary, Aberdeen Elementary, Southern Pines Primary School, and Southern Pines Elementary School. The other new school would replace the crowded Pinehurst Elementary School. The building at Sandhills will consolidate the school's nursing program and enhance simulation technology considered valuable for learning to be a nurse. The Moore County Board of Commissioners unanimously adopted a resolution April 3rd supporting passage of the bond referendums. The issues will be on the ballot during the primary election that ends May 8th. Alenia Wallen Miller, chairwoman of the Moore County School Board, said the new elementary schools are urgently needed. The 4 schools that will be combined into 2 schools were built in the 1930s and the 1940s, she said.
In brief, we have a warrant for a suspect who broke into a store 20 times. A Fayetteville man is accused of breaking into the same convenience store 20 times over a 2-month period, according to the arrest warrants in the Cumberland County Magistrate's office. Edward Eddie LaShawn Fields, age 42, of the 1300 block of Odom Drive, was charged Wednesday with 20 counts each of breaking and entering, larceny, and possessing stolen property. All the break-ins happened at the Kangaroo Store located at 1764 Ireland Drive, according to the warrants. The break-ins were reported between February 17th and March 18th, some occurring within days of each other, and each time, warrants said, Edward Eddie LaShawn Fields took cash in amounts ranging from $20 to $180. His bail was set at $20,000. There's no other information immediately available on this suspect.
Okay, now pay attention, because it's early primary voting and it begins next week, everybody. Roger Mullen is helping us with this article, writing it. One-stop early voting for the May 8th primary election in Cumberland County begins April 19th and ends May 5th. The deadline to register to vote is Friday. People can vote at the Board of Elections, 227 Fountainhead Lane, and other locations. Because of road construction, drivers should enter Fountainhead Lane from Hay Street. Now, the Board of Election hours are Monday through Friday from 8 to 5 p.m. and April 28th from 9 to 3 p.m. and May 5th from 9 to 1. Other one-stop voting sites are at Cliffdale Recreation Center on Cliffdale Road, North Regional Library on MacArthur Road, Hope Mills Recreation Center, 5766 Rockfish Road, Hope Mills, East Regional Library, 4809 Clinton Road, and Grays Creek Recreation Center, 2964 School Road, Hope Mills. So please get out and vote for the early primary next week.
We have a World War II veteran that was a role model, and he was a hero. He's age 95. And this was written by Drew Brooks, the military editor for the Fayetteville Observer. Retired Command Sergeant Major Salvatore Maio did not live for himself. The 95-year-old veteran of World War II and Vietnam, who died Sunday, 8 April, was always focused on others. His family said, with a focus on family and his country. Command Sergeant Major Maio was the father he didn't have to be, said Erica Zumwalt, his granddaughter. He dedicated his life to taking care of his wife, raising his 2 children, and the majority of their children. And he never missed a school play, never missed a graduation, never missed a wedding, never missed a birth or a birthday, said Erica Zumwalt. He was the patriarch of our big Italian family, the rock and the roll model for all of us. Even when honors came to Command Sergeant Major Maio, he often met them with a shrug. Late last year, he was one of 4 North Carolina veterans to receive France's highest military award, the Legion of Honor. Erica Zumwalt said Command Sergeant Major Maio did not understand the honor at first. He said he didn't do anything that any other soldier in that great war that would not have done. But during a ceremony at the old state capitol in Raleigh on the 17th of November, emotions overwhelmed him. He was so proud that day, as we were, Zumwalt said. Erica Zumwalt, his granddaughter, said, but it may be the only time I have ever seen him cry about anything. It was definitely a huge honor to him. Command Sergeant Salvatore Maio was the son of an Italian immigrant. He grew up in Ambler, Pennsylvania, and near Philadelphia and was working at an asbestos factory when the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor late in 1941. The next April, after he turned 19 years of age, Mr. Maio enlisted into the Army, soon to be a private. He spent more than 3 years in Europe during the war fighting to drive back the German forces from North Africa, from Italy, and from France. His unit, the 67th Anti-Aircraft Artillery Gun Battalion, was assigned to a Free French Forces unit for most of the fighting, providing artillery fires and protecting the troops from the German bombers. "I don't think I had any idea what I signed up for," said Maio. "I just signed up and got sent to wherever the Army decided they needed me, to do whatever the Army needed me to do," he told the Fayetteville Observer last year, specifically Drew Brooks, the military editor for the newspaper. It was in Belfort, France, that Command Sergeant Major Maio met his wife, Irene. The two would be wed at the end of the war, and she would join him in America in time for him to be discharged from the Army in March of 1946. 2 years later, Command Sergeant Major Maio decided to re-enlist and serve his country until the year 1974. He deployed to the Dominican Republic and Vietnam, and his career culminated as the senior enlisted leader of the 35th Signal Brigade at Fort Bragg. Following his retirement, he spent 20 years now, managing the Striker Golf Course on Fort Bragg. "My grandfather was the most amazing man," said Erica Zumwalt, his granddaughter. "He knew someone everywhere we went, and I never met anyone who did not like him. They even liked him at the Wiener Works we used to go to. He was very stoic, but at the same time, he was the most loving man," said Erica Zumwalt. "Everyone that met him was impacted by him, even if it was just for 5 minutes." Command Sergeant Major Maio, that's Salvatore Maio, is survived by his wife, Irene, his brother, Frank, and his daughters, Priscilla Herrick and Patricia O'Brien. He also has 5 grandchildren and 9 great-grandchildren, and those great-grandchildren shared memories of their Pepe, French for grandfather. "He was a loving, he was a kind, and he was a selfless man," one child wrote. "He was very brave and intelligent." "Pepe is one of the strongest men I have ever met," wrote another one of his great-grandchildren. "He was very, very loving person and always cared for everybody. He would always tell everyone to shape up or ship out." Many of the handwritten notes included drawings of a motto that Command Sergeant Major Salvatore Maio adopted from his time with the 1st Infantry Division. And that motto was painted on the back of his car. "No mission too difficult. No sacrifice too great. Duty first." And last year, while honoring Command Sergeant Major Salvatore Maio and other veterans, the top French official in the southeastern U.S. called them true heroes who would never be forgotten. "It is never too late to pay homage to these great veterans," said Consul General Luis de Correal. "It is never too late to recall the legacy of their courage and their fight for freedom in a time of darkness and desperation." A memorial service honoring Command Sergeant Major Salvatore Maio will be held at St. Elizabeth and Seton Catholic Church in Fayetteville on Friday at 12:30 p.m. The burial will follow at the Sand Hill State Veterans Cemetery in Spring Lake at 1400 hours, or for those of you that are not familiar with that term, it will be at 2 p.m. Military Editor Drew Brooks can be reached at 910-486-3567. And now, it looks to me like it's 10:35 in the morning on the 12th of April, 2018, and I would like to remind you that this is the Southeastern North Carolina Radio Reading Service. It is a United Way partner agency. We broadcast from the campus of Fayetteville State University, and our signal is carried by WUNC Chapel Hill. A non-profit agency, we rely on your public donation. We request your support to continue our services. And when making charitable donations, please keep the Southeastern North Carolina Radio Reading Service in mind. Our post office box number is 35029 Fayetteville, North Carolina 28303. If you have any questions or comments, please call us at 910-672-1600 or call the toll-free number 844-709-5656. And remember, your radio hosts today are Clark and
Nancy.
And we are certainly proud to serve you today.
Okay, we have a new superintendent, and he is an ex-paratrooper. Marvin Connolly Jr. is approved as the superintendent of the Cumberland County Schools Wednesday by Steve Devane, the staff writer. The Wake Schools administrator Marvin Connolly Jr. is chosen in a 7-2 vote. New superintendent of Cumberland County Schools is a former paratrooper who was currently the second highest administrator in the state's largest school system. Marvin Connolly Jr. was approved to lead Cumberland County Schools by a 7-2 vote Wednesday after the school board met in closed session for 8 minutes. Board members Portia McMillan and Judy Musgrave voted against him, saying he wasn't their first choice, but also saying they would continue to support him. Connolly, 55, is currently the Chief of Staff and Strategic Planner for the Wake County Public School System. He said he is honored, humbled, and blessed to be chosen for his new position. I am thrilled about the opportunity to serve Cumberland County Schools, he said. The students, parents, teachers, school system leaders, community partners, and school board will work together to establish a strategic plan to attain new levels of excellence for all students, Connolly said. We must graduate college and career-ready students who can collaborate, communicate, think critically, and who are creative, so that all our students can compete in an increasingly interconnected world, he said. Connolly will start as superintendent July 1st. His salary will be $220,000. Carrie Sutton, chairwoman of the school board, said the board feels honored, proud, and grateful to begin a new journey with Connolly. I'm excited about the future, and the community should be excited as well, she said. Connolly succeeds Frank Till Jr., who was superintendent for 7 years. The board voted unanimously in July to buy out the final year of Till's $271,000 annual contract. Interim Superintendent Tim Kinlaw, who has worked for Cumberland County Schools for 24 years, did not seek the permanent position. Now you can reach staff writer Steve Devane at sdevane@fayobserver.com or give Steve a call at 486-3572.
We would like to remind you all out there, ladies and gentlemen, and children of all ages, to not forget Fido's rabies shot. It was a lighthearted, pardon me. It was a lighthearted, cute scene that an observer reported captured last week at a county rabies vaccination clinic. All manner of dogs, young and old, large and small, were there with their owners to make sure their pets were up to snuff on their rabies vaccine. The shots are required by law and by common sense. Every year we see a spate of rabid wild animals getting into tangles with the people's pets, and the results can be pretty awful, especially if the pet did not have a current vaccination and comes down with rabies. Even if the dog or cat lucks out and does not get rabies, it still faces a long and expensive quarantine before the little creature can go home. And the owner faces a $100 fine for not having their pet vaccinated. If you go to a county rabies clinic, though, the shot will only cost you $10 an animal. After 2 vaccinations, 1 year apart, pets only need the shot once every 3 years. That's only 10% of the fine you'll pay for an unvaccinated pet, and a world cheaper than losing a beloved companion to the rabies. The county rabies clinics continue through next week. The schedule for the remaining clinics is posted at https://www.co.public-health-group/departments/public-health/public-health/vaccination-clinics. I hope you had your pencil and paper out there, because that is one heck of a website to go check out. But just remember, do not forget to get your pets vaccinated, or you will face a $100 fine if caught.
My goodness.
Goodness gracious.
All right, in the opinion section, the internet has a bigger problem than Facebook. This is by David Ignatius. A word of advice for Congress as it ponders new schemes for internet regulation after the perp walk this week of Facebook tycoon Mark Zuckerberg. Don't do it. Zuckerberg is a very tempting target. His serial apologies show how Facebook became so entangled in its corporate mission to bring the world closer together that it stopped putting the customer first. Facebook is paying for its mistakes in loss of customer trust, its main asset, and this market punishment has only just begun. It's obvious to users now that Facebook's business model isn't about making the world better, but obtaining information about its customers and profiting from it. The social media site illustrates the buzz phrase, "If you're not at the table, you're on the menu," meaning Facebook has been giving us a free service because it can monetize our data. We're the product it's selling. If we don't like that, then Facebook can charge us money for its service, as Zuckerberg testified Tuesday. Facebook will make changes to recover its reputation. Users have had better control over their privacy, perhaps by having to opt in before their data is shared. Zuckerberg outlined other needed reforms. Company will restrict the data it shares with app developers, increase its security, and advertisers to confirm their identity. As we think about Facebook's failures in combating Russian meddling, we should recall America's history of overacting to external threats. The Alien Sedation Acts of 1798 sought to combat French political meddling. McCarthyism began with legitimate fear of Soviet espionage but led to blacklists and purges. The cure is sometimes worse than the disease. A dark media forensics team is creating tools that, in theory, can automatically detect when video or audio images have been altered. I'd be happy if the reality detection system were operated by private companies. I fear we're heading toward a world where a future national security advisor, in response to Russian or Chinese deep fakes, might ask if they can shape our reality. Do we need to be able to shape theirs? Zuckerberg looked so uncomfortable Tuesday in his coat and the contrition costume, you almost felt sorry for him. He made us realize that the weak link in the internet system isn't a lack of government oversight, but our own gullibility. Now, Washington Post columnist David Ignatius can be reached via Twitter at Ignatius Post.
What was his name? Zuckerberg?
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean in German?
I don't know.
Sugar Mountain. Zucker, I think that's sugar. And Berg is kind of mountains. Sugar Mountain.
All right.
Yeah, Mark Sugar Mountain. But I'd like to say that here's a letter to the Observer. The candidate is still in the district. In the first sentence of your April 9 editorial, Clark dispute is one more reason for redistricting reform. You once again ask the question, where in the world is Navid Aziz? The answer is simple. Just like 2 years ago, my home, my heart, my practice, and my business are in Spring Lake. As well, despite the question asked in your editorial, the issue was and is settled. There was no hearing because there never was a proper challenge. I would have welcomed the opportunity to make my case. Instead, I was tarred with slanderous innuendo. In fact, unlike my opponent who voted to gerrymander the district to keep his new home in and mine out, I long ago committed to running from my current address in the home I own and live with my husband. If the court had approved the districts that Senator Clark voted for, I would be running today in the 19th district against Wesley Meredith. However, I do agree with you wholeheartedly that redistricting reform is essential, and I would vote for a non-partisan redistricting commission. I also agree with your previous editorial that it is the issues that matter. Regardless of the outcome of this challenge, Senator Clark's record of fighting for himself and voting with Republican, like last year's budget that Governor Cooper called the most fiscally irresponsible budget I've ever seen, versus my progressive record of fighting for those in need or what voters should be focused on. I look forward to the debate. Signed by Navid Aziz of Spring Lake.
Okay, Monica Venituoli, staff writer, talks to us about the council to discuss removing Williams. The lawyer for the city of Fayetteville will ask the city council for direction on whether to begin the motion process to remove embattled Councilman Tyrone Williams from office. A special meeting will take place Monday night in City Hall's Lafayette Conference Room at 433 Hay Street. Williams refused to resign at a city council meeting earlier this week, despite the rest of the city council and some residents asking him to do so. I think it's prudent, I think it's honorable, and I think the right thing for you to do is to step down, City Councilman Jim Arp said. In their calls for his resignation, the city council members accused Williams of acting unethically in his dealings with the Prince Charles Holding Group. The Durham-based investment group is spending more than $65 million in private projects surrounding the minor league baseball stadium being built downtown. Prince Charles Holdings projects include renovating the Prince Charles Hotel and building office space in the 400 block of Hay Street. Members of his city council began calling for his resignation after the Fayetteville Observer published an audio recording of a meeting between Williams businessman T.J. Jenkins and Prince Charles Holdings project manager Jordan Jones. In the recording, Williams is heard asking Jones for $15,000 to clear up a minor problem with the Prince Charles Hotel properties title. Jones, who secretly recorded the exchange, gave the recording to law enforcement, which triggered an FBI investigation. The City Council's calls for resignation are not enough to force Williams out of office. The only option appears to be the initiation of petition in a motion. City Attorney Karen McDonald said, "This entails a quasi-judicial hearing before the council to consider grounds for removal." According to the UNC School of Government, the process usually takes a few months. It must include a notice to the official, a hearing, and a fact-finding process. At the end of a quasi-judicial hearing, the council would then vote on whether to remove Williams. "My staff and I will discuss and describe the process and receive direction from the council," McDonald said. Now, staff writer Monica Venituoli can be reached at mvenitoli@fayobserver.com or 486-3596.
Here's a cheer and a jeer. Actually, there's only a cheer out of the cheers and jeers. A cheer for the restaurant for helping veterans. Cheers to the Applebee's on Ramsey Street for feeding our veterans at the Fayetteville VA Medical Center on Ramsey Street. These veterans who live in our community living center units are wheelchair and bedbound, none of them able to walk to go to a restaurant. The staff at Applebee's was nice enough to let the nurses order their food over the phone and come and pick it up for our veterans. These veterans were able to enjoy steak, to enjoy hamburgers, and to enjoy pasta with all the sides, all courtesy of Applebee's. On behalf of the nursing staff on wards 3 Alpha and 4 Alpha, we salute you, Applebee's, for caring and supporting our veterans. You have no idea how you made these veterans' day. This was submitted by Sandra Robinson of Parkton, North Carolina. Send us your cheers or jeers. Want to share praise for an individual or a business, or vent about a bad experience? Submit your cheer or jeer to the Cheers and Jeers at fayobserver.com or call this number 910-486-3590. Include your full name, your full hometown, and your full phone number, and limit your item of a cheer or a jeer to 125 words. To correct or cancel your submission, just call this number, 910-609-0651. Cheers and Jeers are published as space permits in our newspaper.
Okay, we know how this one will end. By Kathleen Parker. We've seen this movie before. It would seem but a matter of time before the President of the United States is asked a question under oath and gives a false answer, a lie. In other words, in the prequel starring Bill Clinton, impeachment followed. When the FBI, after referral from Special Counsel Robert Mueller, raided the offices and hotel room of Trump attorney Michael Cohen, the thud of the other shoe dropping sent ripples along Pennsylvania Avenue down the National Mall and over the Potomac River into Northern Virginia, where more than a few veterans of earlier political wars likely grimaced at what could come next. No one should feel good about what's happening now. This isn't to say that the raid wasn't necessary or proper. It was ordered not by Mueller, but by the Office of the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York. But it shows that we've reached a point that apparently made it necessary. The timing, given world affairs, couldn't be worse. As President Trump himself pointed out, amid lamentations of a witch hunt, we're talking about a lot of serious things. Indeed we are. Especially as concerns the dire humanitarian situation in Syria, where President Bashar Assad reportedly executed a chemical attack on civilians, including children, near Damascus. Trump is caught in a double bind with potentially disastrous consequences either way. Do not take military action, as he has said he would, risks being seen as weak or indecisive. Remember Barack Obama's flimsy red line? To engage Syria military risks everything else, further worsening relations with Russia, which vowed last month to retaliate against the U.S. should it attack Assad's forces, within which Russian troops are embedded. Closer to home, Trump risks the plausible perception, given history and his often impulsive decision-making process, that he would strike to create a distraction from the personnel and personal chaos surrounding him. Back to the prequel, you'll recall Clinton's 1998 missile strikes in Sudan, where a pharmaceutical factory was destroyed, as well as simultaneous strikes in Afghanistan. According to U.S. intelligence, the Sudan facility was part of Osama bin Laden's empire and was believed to be a chemical weapons site, which turned out not to be so. Thusly was born the wag the dog theory, that Clinton was creating a distraction from his tortures at the hands of independent counsel Kenneth Starr, who was investigating the president's alleged relations with Monica Lewinsky. According to the Clinton administration, there was only a small window of time when the missiles could be launched effectively, which just happened to be on the very same day of Lewinsky's appearance before Starr's grand jury, wrote Christopher Hitchens at that time. What was the hurry? Clinton needed to look presidential for a day. Recall, too, that Starr's original mandate was to investigate an allegedly questionable land deal in Arkansas known as White Water. But, well, one thing led to another, and relations did take place in the Oval Office, but Whitewater was a bust, and the 9/11 Commission concluded that the rationale for the bombings had been credible, giving information at the time. My, but history does seem to enjoy repeating itself. It has been observed that most movies end with a repetition or variation at the opening scene. Increasingly, this plot seems to be foreshadowing a day when President Trump, exposed and possibly impeached, is shown going back by the down escalator, alone, perhaps, but glad to be home. Now you can read the Washington Post columnist Kathleen Parker's email address, kathleenparker@washpost.com.
We have a little question for the live wire. Is there a way to know how many churches are in the county? Answer: there are 142 churches in Hope County, and 13 of those are in the city limits of Rayford. This was submitted by A.M. Rayford of Hope County, and she wanted to know how many churches were in her county. That's quite a few churches, 142 churches in Hope County. The time now is 11 o'clock in the morning. It's Thursday. It's the 12th of April, 2018, and I would like to remind you that this is the Southeastern North Carolina Radio Reading Service. It is a United Way partner agency. We broadcast from the campus of Fayetteville State University, and our signal is carried by WUNC Chapel Hill. As a nonprofit agency, we rely on public donations. We request your support to continue our services. When making charitable donations, please keep the Southeastern North Carolina Radio Reading Service in mind. Our post office box number is 35029, Fayetteville, North Carolina, 28303. If you have any questions or comments, please call us at 910-672-1600 or call our toll-free number at 844-709-5656. Your radio hosts today are Clark and
Nancy.
And we are certainly proud to serve you today.
Okay, we're going to begin with the obituaries. The following deaths have been reported. See upcoming editions of the Fayetteville Observer for complete obituary information. Going to Cumberland County, William Moore Sr., age 84, of Fayetteville, Cunningham and Sons Mortuary. Willie J. Lacewell, 86, of Fayetteville, Colvin Funeral Home and Crematory. Lawrence June Davis, 79, of Fayetteville, Wiseman Mortuary. Althea M. Williams, age 59, of Fayetteville, Wiseman Mortuary. Going to the Cape Fear region, Willa Hines Robinson, age 87, of Maxton, S&L Funeral Home, Maxton. Marie Blanks, age 83, of Lumberton, formerly of St. Paul's, Bowles St. Paul's Funeral Home. Dorothy McGage, age 84, of Laurenburg, Richard Bowles Funeral Service. Christopher Lee Scott, age 57, of Ellerby, Purcell Funeral Home, Southern Pines. Aliona C. Barrett, age 18, of Sanford, Cunningham and Sons Mortuaries. Okay. Ricky, going to Cumberland County, Ricky Montez Hodges Sr. in Fayetteville. Ricky Montez Hodges Sr., age 64, of 3588 Gazella Circle, number 6, died Saturday, April 7th. The funeral will be Friday at 11 a.m. and the chapel viewing at the funeral home Thursday, 5 to 7 p.m., hearing funeral, care, and cremations. Paul Glenwood Dason of Fayetteville, age 65, passed away on Saturday, April 7, 2018. He is survived by his brother Cecil Arthur Dason III of Hope Mills. Services are entrusted to Rogers and Brees Funeral Home. Virginia Louise Barnett, 67, of Fayetteville, died Sunday, April 8, 2018. Wiseman Mortuary. Retired Master Sergeant Robert Blamaker. Retired Master Sergeant Robert William Blamaker, age 83, of Fayetteville, Fort Bragg, passed away on Saturday, March 31st, 2018 in the VA Medical Center. Celebration of life service will be held at 2 p.m. Saturday, April 14th at the SFA and Green Beret facility, 4990 Doc Bennett Road, Fayetteville. A headstone will be placed at the U.S. Army Special Forces Green Beret Team House Cemetery at a later date. Services are entrusted to Rogers and Breeze Funeral Home. Retired Sergeant First Class Joseph Stephen Self. Retired Sergeant First Class Joseph Stephen Self, age 62, of Fayetteville, passed away on Sunday, April 8, 2018. The family will receive friends Thursday, April 12th, from 7 to 10 p.m. at Wilson Funeral Home, 1270 KY 2565, Louisiana, Kentucky. Services and arrangements are entrusted to Rogers and Breeze Funeral Home, Fayetteville, and Wilson Funeral Home, Louisiana, Kentucky. Beeman C. Patterson of Fayetteville passed away on Thursday, April 15th, just having celebrated his 90th birthday 5 days later. Memorial service will be held on Saturday, April 14th at 11 a.m. in the Lewis Chapel Missionary Church, Wiseman Mortuary. Betty Pate Matthews from Fayetteville. Betty Pate Matthews, age 85, of Fayetteville, passed away on Sunday, April 5th, 2018. Family will receive friends from 6 to 8 p.m. on Thursday, April 12th, 2018 at Rogers and Breeze Funeral Home. A funeral service will be held at 3 p.m. Friday, April 13th, 2018 in Rogers and Breeze Funeral Home Chapel, with the Reverend Archie Behringer officiating. Burial will follow at the Stony Point Baptist Church Cemetery. Services are entrusted to Rogers and Breeze Funeral Home. Viola Bell McRae, age 82, formerly of Fayetteville, departed this life Friday, April 6, 2018. Funeral service will be held on Saturday, April 14th at 11 a.m. in Beauty Spot Missionary Baptist Church. Burial will follow in Cumberland Memorial Gardens. Viewing Friday, April 13th at 2 to 7 p.m. at Wiseman Mortuary. Jean Raymond Thompson from Fayetteville, age 80, passed away on Tuesday, April 10th, 2018 in his home. Arrangements are being made by Jernigan Warren Funeral Home. His funeral services will be held Friday, April 13th at 10 a.m. at St. Elizabeth Ann Seton Catholic Church. Bert Johnson of Fayetteville, age 87. Bert died Tuesday, April 3rd, 2018, and his funeral will be Friday at noon in Soul Fellowship Church. The visitation will be at Colvin Funeral Home Chapel Thursday, 2 to 5 p.m. and the burial in Cumberland, Colvin Funeral and Home and Crematory. John L. Autry, Autryville. Mr. John Irvin Autry, age 93, 537 Irvin Road, Autryville, went home to be with his Lord and Savior on April 8, 2018. The funeral will be held at 2 p.m. Saturday, April 14th at Clement Baptist Church, 6175 Maxwell Road, Autryville, with Reverend Dr. James E. Dees, Jr. and Reverend Dr. Brian Autry officiating. Burial with military honors will follow at the Autry Family Cemetery. Alberta B. Council. Alberta B. Council, age 91 of Fayetteville, died Wednesday, April 4th, 2018. The funeral will be Friday at noon, Colvin Funeral Home Chapel, and the visitation at Colvin Funeral Home Chapel Thursday, noon to 2, Colvin Funeral Home and Crematory.
And in the region and elsewhere, Samuel D. Phillips. Captain Samuel Durand Phillips, age 27, of San Diego, California, passed away Tuesday, 3 April 2018. A funeral service will be held on Saturday, 14 April 2018 at 3 p.m. at the Community Presbyterian Church located at 125 Everett Road in Pinehurst, North Carolina. Following the funeral service, a celebration of Sam's life will be held on the village green starting at 4:30 p.m., where tacky, colorful Hawaiian shirts are strongly encouraged. Samuel Durand Phillips would love to see all of your Hawaiian shirts. In lieu of flowers, memorial contributions may be made to the Wingman Foundation, located at 10915 via Brescia, Unit 909, San Diego, California, 92129, or you may do so online at www.wingmanfoundation.org. Online condolences may be made at www.bowlesfuneralhome.com. The Bowles Funeral Home is serving the family for those funeral services. Steve Ronald Storms, age 67, of Evergreen, passed away Tuesday, 10 April 2018. The family will receive friends from 10 to 11 a.m. on Friday, April the 13th, at Bladen Gaskin's Funeral Home in Elizabethtown, followed by a funeral service at 11 a.m. officiated by Reverend Anthony Rich. The burial will follow the service in Butler's Cemetery in Bladenboro. Walter Christopher Chris Bird, age 59, of Dunn, died Monday, 9 April 2018. The memorial will be on Thursday at 3 p.m. at Divine Street United Methodist Church, located 400 West Divine Street in Dunn. The visitation will be at the Divine Street United Methodist Church on Thursday from 1:30 p.m. to 3 p.m. The Cromartie Miller Funeral Home has been entrusted with the funeral services. Sherry Jean Harris, age 52, of 121 Lamb Avenue in Irwin, died Thursday, 5 April 2018. The funeral will be on Saturday at 2 p.m. at the Mount Pisgah OFWB Church, located at 145 Prospect Road in Irwin. The visitation will be at the Dafford Funeral Home, located at 707 East Edgerton Street, Dunn, on Friday from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. The burial will be at the Mount Pisgah OFWB Church Cemetery. The Dafford Funeral Home of Dunn has been entrusted with the funeral services. June Carlisle Bullard Livermore, age 88, of Red Springs, died Monday, 9 April 2018. The funeral will be on Friday at 3 p.m. at the Red Springs First Baptist Church. The visitation will be at the Red Springs First Baptist Church on Friday from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. The burial will be at the Alloway Cemetery. The Bowles Funeral Home of Red Springs has been entrusted with those funeral services. Marion Lex Snook Moser, Sr., age 94, of Maxton, died Tuesday, 10 April 2018. The memorial for Snook will be on Saturday at 11:30 a.m. at the First Presbyterian Church in Maxton. The visitation will follow the service at the church. Richard Bowles' funeral service has been entrusted with the funeral services. Sarah Emily Myers Averett, age 91, of Tar Heel, died Tuesday, 10 April 2018. The funeral will be on Saturday at 2 p.m. at the Beth Carr Presbyterian Church. The visitation will be at the McNeil Mackey Funeral Home of St. Paul's on Friday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And the burial will be at the Beth Carr Presbyterian Church Cemetery. The McNeil Mackey Funeral Home of St. Paul's has been entrusted with the funeral services. Ann E. Hunt, age 85, of 114 McLean Circle in Lillington, died Monday, 9 April 2018. The funeral will be on Sunday at 3 p.m. at the Dafford Funeral Home Chapel, located at 50 Tippett Road in Angier. The viewing will be at the Dafford Funeral Home Chapel in Angier on Saturday from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. The burial will be at the Rest Haven Cemetery in Dunn. The Dafford Funeral Home is serving that family. Rosa Roberts, age 76, of Parkton, died Thursday, 5 April 2018. The funeral will be on Friday at 2 p.m. at the Beauty Spot Baptist Church. The visitation will be at the Colvin Funeral Home Chapel on Thursday from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. The burial will be at Mount Hebrew Cemetery. Colvin Funeral Home and Crematory is serving the family. James J.F. Wright, 76, of Clinton, died Wednesday, 11 April 2018. The funeral will be on Saturday at 11 a.m. at the First Baptist Church. The visitation will be at the Crumpler Honeycutt Funeral Home on Friday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. The burial will be at Grandview Memorial Park. Crumpler Honeycutt Funeral Home has been entrusted with the funeral services. James Leslie McNeil, age 97, of 2333 Fairlawn Avenue in Washington, D.C., formerly of Sampson County, died Wednesday, 28 March 2018. There will be a graveside service on Saturday at 1 p.m. at the Rest Haven Cemetery in Dunn. The burial will be at the Rest Haven Cemetery in Dunn. The Dafford Funeral Home of Dunn has been entrusted with those funeral services. Colby Neelan Savage, age 22, of Elizabethtown, died Tuesday, 10 April 2018. The funeral will be on Friday at 3 p.m. at the Bladen Gaskins Funeral Home. The visitation will be at the Bladen Gaskins Funeral Home on Friday from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. The burial will be at the Mount Horeb Cemetery Council. Willie Milton Lowry, age 73, of St. Paul's, died Tuesday, 10 April 2018. The funeral will be on Thursday at 6 p.m. at the Bold St. Paul's Funeral Home. The visitation will be at the Bold St. Paul's Funeral Home on Thursday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. The Bold St. Paul's Funeral Home will be serving that family. And this concludes the obituaries for Thursday, 12 April 2018.
All right, let's go to Billy Graham. Instead of trying to be perfect, let Christ wash away your sin. This is from the writings of the Reverend Billy Graham. Question: do you think it's possible to be perfect if we just try hard enough? I've tried and tried to become a better person, and I know I've made some progress, but I get discouraged because I can't seem to make it to a higher level. God must be very disappointed in me. Am I doing something wrong? By Mrs. N.S. Answer: although it may shock you, the one thing you are doing wrong is trying to be perfect. You are like an athlete trying to jump across the Grand Canyon. You may make it farther than most people, but you'll still fall woefully short. Why is this? The reason the Bible says is because something is wrong with us that makes it impossible for us to be perfect. That something is sin, which has corrupted our hearts and crippled our wills so much that no matter how hard we try, we'll never be perfect. The Apostle Paul discovered that in his own life. I have the desire to do what is good, but I cannot carry it out. From the book of Romans chapter 7, verse 18. This is why we need Christ, for only He can take away our sin and our guilt and replace them with His forgiveness and grace. He came to earth for one reason: to provide the way for us to become perfect in the eyes of God. He did this by taking upon Himself our sins and our judgment and clothing us in His perfect righteousness. Don't let your pride or anything else keep you from giving your life to Jesus Christ. God loves you. He loves you so much that He wants you to be with Him forever. Don't trust your own goodness, but confess your sins to Christ and open your heart and life to His transforming power. And this comes from the Tribune Content Agency.
And now we have something for Dear Abby. A teenager struggles to rebuild a connection to her alcoholic mother. Yes. Shaken, not stirred. Dear Abby, my mom is a recovering alcoholic. Her alcoholism has caused emotional distress and damaged our relationship to the point that I am aloof and terse towards her. She's 6 months sober now, receiving help and making an effort to repair the hurt and pain she